Mayor Valerie Plante joins us on the line, and we've announced this morning this show. This is our pick for Montrealer of the Year. Won her second term in a very convincing fashion. A lot of people doubted that would be the case earlier in the year, and of course she did it with a positive vision of livable cities, and also that Montreal is a pretty safe city. Madame la Mairesse, welcome back to the show.
Merci beaucoup. I'm very happy to be with you this morning.
So let's talk about what the Premier says. The situation is critical. I need to get your thoughts on this. How would you describe the Omicron variant COVID-19 situation for Montreal right now?
Well, of course, the news are not so good, and we are definitely very preoccupied. We understand why some decisions have to be made by the public health, in the government of Quebec. But of course, it has a big impact on our morale, but also on businesses, right? Because everybody understands why we have to make sure that the COVID doesn't, we don't go back to a situation where everything was closed. But it is tough. It is tough for small businesses and restaurants, and for all of us, of course.
How's your morale? Because I'm hearing the restaurants say their morale is down with the cancellations of gatherings that they were expecting. How is your morale with this news?
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed, of course, and I think so much effort has been done by Montrealers at all levels, and same thing for all the businesses and the small ones particularly. So it is disappointing, but at the same time, my message to all Montrealers, especially for small businesses, is please go and support them. Amazon don't need our wallet. They don't need our money, but our small businesses, our moms and pop shops, they need us. And that will make them smile. It will reassure them, and it will be good money in our local economy.
All right. Well, it's something that I would say as well. Those local businesses have had a rough time, and they do need support. So, Mayor Plante, let's get to some of the issues that I wanted to talk about before the COVID news of the last 15 minutes or so. Let's talk about your meeting with Stephen Bronfman.
Yes.
Can you tell us how that meeting went? What happened in that meeting?
Well, it was a very good meeting. They've done a lot of work. They are very serious about this project, and they believe in this project, which I think is the right way to approach it. And at the same time, for me, it is important that I will not share so much about that meeting, because my position is that it is for the group baseball, the Groupe de Montréal, to actually present it, to give an update to Montrealers about what are their plans, what is the vision, how would it happen? Because there is a lot of questions. There's enthusiasm, but there's also a lot of questions. And the second thing is I did stand my ground saying that, yes, no, Montreal will not invest public money into a stadium.
So, but we all know the buck stops with you. And when you look at the island of Montreal and you look at prime land that's available, right at the top of the list would be that land near the Peel Basin, across from the Costco, the area that Stephen Bronfman and the Montreal baseball group is after. What is your vision? When you know about the housing crisis, what's your vision for one of those last prime real estate areas that are underdeveloped?
Well, you're right to say that it's such a strategic, amazing, piece of land. So we need to be we take this very seriously. And my vision is actually based on the vision that Montrealers have shared over the last few years in consultation with the OCPM, which is making sure that there's mixed city in terms of usage, meaning economic development, housing development. Housing has to be huge in that area. And of course, I'm the mayor that talks a lot about social and affordable housing. So that needs to be present. Greenland, it has to be about giving access to the water. It has to be, and transportation is key as well. So those elements are those that I'm carrying to the Groupe Baseball, but it would be the same elements that I would be sharing with any investors or anyone interested in developing that area.
So I'm worried, Mayor Plante, I'm worried about how sometimes developers seem to be shooed away from the island. I think what's happening at the Royal Mount situation, all that does is get people to go to Laval or go to the South Shore or go to Vaudreuil-Dorion. Sometimes it feels like leaders are getting in the way of development and building when we need more units, we need more supply. How do you make sure that the housing situation gets settled, that developers who want to build be allowed to build and not have roadblocks put in their way time and time again?
Well, I think it's a matter of for them to be well accompanied. And for me, I find that for that specific area, and in contrary with Royal-Mount, where Montreal had nothing to say because it was not part of Montreal, right? It's actually in Ville-Mont-Royal. But in that place, we are making right now an urban planning. We have all the consultation that give the criteria to the developers. And for me, those elements are keys. The work had been done before. So right now we're in a good position of saying Groupe Baseball, or again, any promoters who will come up with a great project in that area, here's the winning conditions. Here's what we need. Here's what Montrealers are expecting. And to me, that is key.
Is it a baseball project or a housing project? How would you tell a friend about this project that's being proposed to you?
Again, I think at this point, since they've done great work, the Groupe Baseball, but I really want them they are the promoters, and I will not be the one sharing different elements. Oh. It is their job to share the vision and how housing is being part of that, how they want to make sure that there's, public spaces, because they have read the OCPM report like I did, which is a good thing. So they're evolving, their vision is evolving based on that. And to me, this is why I'm saying this is great work. But ultimately, it will be for Groupe Baseball to promote that their vision.
I was hoping I'd get you to slip up and spill the beans, but you didn't take the bait. We're with the mayor of Montreal, Valerie Plante. Madame la Mairesse, let's talk about La Tulipe and a cultural venue, a concert venue that is fed up. They've had it. They feel that they get a new neighbor. There was a mistake by the city on rezoning a commercial spot as residential. Neighbor moves in, starts the complaints, and then it's fine after fine. They got to go to court, and they said, we're going to have to close down, and they're not the first that has faced that same situation. What are you going to do here, Mayor Plante, to protect concert venues that have been there for decades and decades, but they get noise complaints from new tenants or owners, and they get forced out of business?
Well, this is a very good question, because what's happening with La Tulipe, like you said, happened. It's not always the same situation, but we can see like similar cases, being brought up over years after years. So our administration is taking this issue very seriously. So we're the one working on a nightlife policy, and why it is so crucial is that it will help us to look at all the bylaws and come up with a cohabitation policy, because let's be honest, it's a balance that we have to find. I truly believe that the nightlife of Montreal is contributing financially, but also in terms of our reputation. It's great. This is what makes Montreal dynamic. But some of those places are in very dense area, so we need to find balance. And for this specific about La Tulipe, it was managed by the borough of Mont-Royal. That's very important to say. It's not a city.
But it's a Projet Montreal borough, and I've got to say, your administration has been accused before of sometimes when there's a choice between like the working class or the cultural communities, the poorer residents of the plateau versus the people that now own $1 million homes in the plateau, you always go on the side of the sort of gentrified side of Plateau Montreal. What do you say to that accusation?
I find like there's not a one rule that fits all. It's I'm the mayor of the borough, downtown borough, Ville-Marie, and we're facing those issues as well. And this is why I really find that we need to support all the institution, and we're talking about La Tulipe. It's an institution that has been there forever and has been contributing to the cultural scene. So for us, this is crucial. And if there's a mistake or something that happened at the borough level, it will be fixed. Right now, it's in front of it's in court, so I'm limited in the comments that I can make. But I think we have shown in the last few days how much we've been accompanying the La Tulipe, and we will continue to do so, because those institutions are very important to us.
I wish you a happy holidays, and thank you for joining us as we wrap up the year here on the Elias Makos Show. Thank you very much, Madame la Mairesse.
Thank you, and happy holidays.
That is the Mayor of Montreal, Valerie Plante.